I saw these all the way across the backyard, had no clue what they were. Look at how huge these mushrooms are. They're the size of my hand and puffy. What is going on, guys? I'm Samuel and welcome back to Louisiana. Today, we're gonna be talking about brakes, or actually not having brakes. I've had this request on a video to go down a hill as fast as I can on a bike without brakes and see if I can stop. And we're gonna be doing that later today, or at least trying to. But first, I'm gonna be telling you a little bit about brakeless riding, how you can do it, how you can still stop the bike, and still be safe and in control without having brakes. See, when I got my first BMX when I was about 13 years old, I think I immediately took the brakes off because even the best BMX brakes are still pretty weak compared to mountain bike brakes, and that's what I like the feel of. And brakes on a bike are a hassle. If you're doing a lot of bar spins, they get in your way unless you have a gyro, and then gyros can fail. Even brakes on a mountain bike are prone to failure. They're pretty sensitive, so they're really trustworthy when they work, but it's easy for something to go wrong and them not work. You can get contaminated brake pads and brake rotors, you can get bubbles in the air hoses, you can have troubles with your lever. I've even broken the pistons in brake calipers on my mountain bike. There's all kind of things that can go wrong. So on my BMX, I just choose to ride brakeless. There's way less stuff to fail and a lot of stuff I have to worry about if I crash or drop the bike, which happens every time you ride a BMX. Now, since I've been riding brakeless for so long, I've developed some pretty great techniques to actually control my speed and be able to be in control of the bike without having brakes on it. And I'm gonna be sharing some of those with you guys today. All of this stuff feels pretty second nature to me, but if you're new to riding brakeless, you might not actually realize this, or if you've never even heard of brakeless riding, then it might sound wild or dangerous. It's not, I promise you that. The first tip I have for you is everything is done with your feet. That's right, either feet on the ground or feet in the tire. There's a lot of ways you can control your bike. Now, before I start actually telling you how to do it, we're gonna get a couple clips here in the backyard, obviously on the brakeless bike, and you're gonna see how much bike control there is even without brakes. I'll do some jumps over the spine, do some tricks on the box. Let's have a quick ride, then we'll try some more stuff out. You can even do precise technical riding without brakes. You just gotta use your feet to stop the tires. I'll do a foot jump on a little 4-inch deck up on top of the spine. This deck is narrower than my hand. There's not much room to miss. So there are 3 ways to actually control your speed without brakes. Now, actually, I'm gonna give you the first way to ride without brakes, and that's just to control your speed really well. If you need more speed, then land smoothly. If you need to go slower, go a bit farther on the landing so you catch less angle and you get squirted out less. If you're actually going out of speed and you wanna change it, how do you slow yourself down? There are 3 steps. So the first way to actually control your speed that is the best overall, you can use it going slow, you can use it going fast, you can use it to slow yourself down a lot or just scrub off a little bit of speed. That's to actually take your foot and stick it between the seat stay and the tire, and your foot's gonna get wedged in there. And then depending on how hard you step on your wheel, that's gonna slow you down more or less. The thing you wanna watch out for is it can rub a hole in your shoe if you do it for a long time. I've never had it happen, but I have noticed a little bit more wear in the tread of my right shoe than my left shoe after I ride a pair of shoes, and I've never actually worn a hole in my shoe. I have noticed it does wear the tread of my tire down a little bit, right in the very middle, so if you have thin tires, your tires are really worn, I would be a little cautious about doing that because maybe you could wear through the rubber, but the rubber's pretty thick. If you've got thicker rubber on your tires, I don't think that's a concern at all. Now, you only wanna do that on the rear tire because the rear tire is being pulled along by the bike, so this is gonna slow you down if you do it. Now, if you foot brake on the front, you're not gonna be able to slow yourself down because your foot's gonna be stopping that front tire completely and all your momentum's gonna make the bike do this. Now, you want to do that when you do a foot jam because in order to foot jam, you don't want your front tire rolling at all. You need it completely stopped so your weight can balance on it. But if you're trying to slow down and you put your foot in your front tire, then the bike's gonna flip over. That's gonna be a bad crash. I would not even recommend trying that going with much speed at all. But it does make for a lot of fun practice hopping around your front tire. Now, for the second technique of stopping your bike, this is what I found works best when you want to come completely to a stop or if you're going really fast, and that is just taking your feet off the pedals and putting them on the ground. You want to make sure that you're kind of heel down and not toe down so your foot doesn't get caught and then ripped by the ground. If you want to slow down a little bit, you can put one foot down and just keep adding a little pressure with your heel till you start slowing down, or if you're going really fast or want to come to a really quick stop, then both feet down with your heels, putting pressure on the ground slows you down super quickly. You want to be careful with this because you are putting your feet on the ground while you're going quickly, and you want to be cautious that your legs don't just get ripped underneath you and you damage your feet. So you want to keep your toes up and go heel first. That way your foot's gonna slide over things instead of getting caught on them and getting ripped away. And don't put all your pressure down at once. Put a little pressure on the ground and then keep adding pressure once you feel how quickly you're slowing down and how much you want to slow down. Now, the third way is a little riskier. It's a little bit less controllable, but if you only want to scrub off a little bit of speed and you're not going super fast, it can be nice to do. You can flick the tail of your bike out a little bit. It's really tricky to do when you're on the pedals because you want to have enough pressure on the rear tire that when it goes out sideways, it does provide drag to slow you down, but you don't want want too much pressure on the rear tire that when it goes out sideways, it hooks up and it sends you off in a turn. I can only use this kind of going at a medium speed. If I'm going too slow, it doesn't really work. If I'm going too fast, then it just doesn't work at all and I can't control it. And it's really tricky to find the right amount of balance to have between your front and your rear tire, because you want to have a certain amount of weight on your front wheel to keep yourself going a straight line. But you also need enough pressure on the rear wheel to be effective and slow yourself down. So I'm gonna put the GoPro on. I'm gonna show you all three of these braking styles in one line and we'll test them out. The ground you're riding on does have a big difference in riding brakeless. I'm riding on the grass, so my bike already has a lot of drag and rolling resistance, so it kind of wants to slow down after if I'm not pedaling. If you're on concrete, then the bike wants to roll a lot faster, and that's when already having a line planned and being prepared in case you can't stop is a lot more important, because the bike's gonna carry a lot more speed on concrete. I also feel like riding brakeless makes you a better bike rider because you have to already plan one move in advance. We're gonna test these methods out. I think I'm going a little fast right here, so we can do a little toe brake like that, slow ourselves down. We'll jump the spine. We'll do a big Tabes on the corner. I've got a bit much speed, so we'll slide sideways a little bit. Now we'll 3 the spine and then be done. Now that we're done with the ride, I want to slow down, feet on the ground, dead stop. That was easy, that was safe. Now, if you're thinking about riding brakeless, I hope you can use these methods to a lot of success and feel confident on your bike. Now, of course, I'm doing these on BMX. BMX is really the only bikes you ever see getting ridden brakeless. That's where all these methods definitely work the best, especially for toe braking, because the frame is really well built for that, with not much space in here for your feet to get sucked into. So it's really safe to apply pressure and keep your toes safe. I have been known to take the brakes entirely off my mountain bike and ride a downhill trail, and I was controlling my speed just by riding the bikes. And that's where I received this challenge to see how fast I can ride my bike down a hill and stop without brakes. So today we're gonna be going to an abandoned gravel pit. They've got a huge gravel mound left there, and I'm gonna take my bike. We're not gonna touch the brakes. We're gonna roll down this massive hill, and we're gonna stop without brakes. Since we're on a mountain bike, I can't really put my foot in the rear tire because there's not space for me to do that. So we'll have to do some rear wheel skids, and we might even have to pull our feet out on the ground, but we're gonna test it out, see if this can actually apply to big bikes, see if I can stop safely. Let's go find out. And now I've got my mountain bike. I haven't taken my brakes all the way off this time because I didn't have to deal with all that work, but I did slide them down the handlebars to where the brake levers are no longer in a place I can reach them. Here's my hand, and then here's my finger, and there's the brake lever. I can't get to the brakes if I want to, but if I really need to stop, I guess I could grab like this. So no cheating will be happening today. This is gonna be way more challenging than the BMX bike, and it's because of the design of the rear end of this bike. The seat stay is a lot lower, the tire's a lot knobbier, and there's weirder spaces in here to where you can't really safely put your foot in to stop the bike. It kind of gets sucked in somewhere, and this tread's too aggressive to do it. So basically, in order to do this, we've just got to have a lot of control over riding the bike. I think I can do it, but just to be safe, in case things go wrong, we're gonna go prepared with some extra safety. With that being said, let's get ourselves to the gravel pit and climb to the top. Well, this is it. We are live on location at the biggest dune I can find, the largest sand dune. We're gonna be going down from the top, entirely brakeless, and we're gonna see how well I can control my speed out here. I've got a nice safe distance to do it in. You get a lot of speed rolling down this thing, especially on the 29-inch wheels that go super fast over anything. Now, my comment did request me to go 80 miles an hour down a hill. We're certainly not gonna be doing that here. I don't think that's possible. So I gotta climb all the way to the top of this thing in the sand with the bike, and then we're gonna roll in from the top. And once I start rolling, I can't second guess myself. I've got to be committed and then trust my skills, stop the bike at the bottom. We're gonna be really putting this YT through its paces. Camera's on. Let's do it. Here we go. We're gonna get to the top of that. To the top. It's crazy to look at. Usually I sit up here and hold on to my brake with the wheel lock so I don't start rolling before I want to, but that's enough worrying about it. 3, 2, 1, dropping. Oh! Oh! Yo! Oh! Wow. Oh, that was such a weird feeling. The only hard drop was right at the very tip, and then after that, once you start rolling down, it felt really safe. Yes! Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this little lesson about riding brakeless. There's really nothing to it. I think it just sounds a lot worse in your head than it actually is, because once you take your brakes off on the bike, it does not feel dangerous. It's not bad at all. There's not really even much of a learning curve. After 2 rides, you've got it under your belt. So if you try this out, please let me know how it goes in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel, share this video with your grandmother, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.